Hey everyone, I am so excited to introduce today's guest. Mack has been in the industry a long time, not only as a dancer, but also as a choreographer. You've seen her work on the Grammys. She's worked with Kendrick Lamar. She's been on The Voice, American Idol. And right now, you can see her work on Coming to America on Amazon Prime. She assisted the legendary Fatima Robinson. And so she gives us some inside scoop on the film, which I loved. But she also talks about her love for the African diasporic movement. And I think this is so important because a lot of us don't realize that very familiar dance styles fall under this umbrella. In fact, we've seen them on the commercial dance shows, but we don't know a lot about it. We don't know how to learn about it. And that's exactly what Kara is doing. She's trying to educate people not only on the collegiate level, but also on the studio and on the convention level. So she's got a ton of enthusiasm and a ton of knowledge to share. So I think you will all really enjoy Kara, and take it away. Kara, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to have you here. I spent my Friday night watching Coming to America, so I am ready and prepped to go for this.
Yay! I'm excited to be here, and I'm ready to answer any questions you have for me.
Let's start with Coming to America because obviously it is on everyone's Amazon Prime list right now. And you were assisting Fatima Robinson. I should say, like the
Yeah,
one and only, the legendary Fatima. Um, Talk about,
yeah.
because this isn't your first time working with her. Tell me how long your relationship extends back to working with her.
Well, I actually, she laughs even to this day because with the Kendrick Lamar in 2016, she actually asked me, Kara, how did we meet? And I used to be a dancer up under another dancer choreographer in around 2009. I was doing NAACP awards, BT awards, Billboard awards under her, but I was just a dancer. So it's like in between that gap of like 2009, 2016, I was doing a lot of study in terms of different African diasporic techniques, of traveling to the continent, to the diaspora, just studying. And so I guess in the midst of it, it was a name drop. And so she remembered, but she just like, how did we? But so yeah, it's like after that, she brought me in, and that like solid you can do choreography style relationship began in 2016.
For people that don't understand exactly what an assistant choreographer does, because I listen, I cover a lot of Dancing with the Stars, and they get very confused that the pros don't do all of their choreography, that they may have someone behind the scenes helping them out, or that they may have an assistant. And I think it's really
Gotcha.
important to understand that this is a crucial role and it doesn't lessen the work of the lead choreographer by any means.
Exactly. So in terms of a choreographer in the industry, it's a lot of weight. It's not just 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. You also have to do the auditions. You have to cast the people. You have to cast the dancers. If it's in terms of even coming to America, it's a predicament where the dancers and the style also need drummers. You have to cast those people. You have to do everything concerning communicating to the costume department. What movement works well with the costumes? You have to make all of those decisions while your assistants rehearse and also can give your 5, 6, 7, 8s, but they don't carry that weight. I don't have to like make sure that my phone is by me all the time because the executive producer is contacting me for the umpteenth time that day concerning can you rehearse this way or can you do something on set or da 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 da. The choreographer gets all of that weight. So in terms of me being an assistant choreographer, you have to understand it's a film, for heaven's sakes. So you need a team of people to make sure that, a lot of times there'll be one or two big numbers in a film and you have your team, but it's like more than one or two numbers in that film. So you need a team of people to make sure to check emails from the producer or get some notes from the director or da 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 da, and then you have other people that are actually with the dancers is making sure that everything is top of the line. So when we arrive to set, it won't have to be like, why didn't you get this or why didn't you get that? Because you basically would have to be an octopus to be in these predicaments and say, I can hold all of this weight on my own. It's like literally impossible. So yeah.
It takes a village. That's really what it comes
Yes.
down to.
Yes.
The numbers in Coming to America, the one thing I love about Eddie Murphy, he never does anything small. He puts the budget into things. Every little detail is tended to, and I think you really see how rich and lush everything looks in Coming to America. There's no
Yeah.
question. I actually looked up. I had to look up. I was like, where did they film this? I didn't realize it was Atlanta. I mean, you might as well have sent me to a foreign land. That's how I know it's an Eddie Murphy production. So,
Tyler
congratulations.
Perry Studio. Yeah, and it's at Tyler Perry Studios. So
Um,
it's like that to be like when it premiered, I believe that it was like Coming to America shooting, and then in the end, Will Smith and Martin's movie, why is it leaving me? The movie that they just came out, Will Smith and Martin Payne.
um, I know, and I'm, I'm doing the same thing.
I
I'm
know
blanking. And I'm like, I know
we're
exactly what you're talking
blanking
about.
out. Oh my God, it's such a blockbuster. But they actually came to film and they took a lot of pictures together. It was like the first time that two major productions was basically at Tyler Perry Studios.
I'm looking
So
it up too.
she's like, I'm gonna get this.
I'm like, because it's
So it was a really big deal on just like Black pride and entrepreneurship and ownership. And it's like, have it at my new studios, not the old studio, but brand new, stage. And it was beautiful. The stage setup was beautiful. Everybody on the production side did an amazing job. And Ruth on costume design, doing, coming from Black Panther, winning the Oscar from Black Panther, and now doing all of the amazing design for this movie. Yeah, she was amazing to work with too.
that's exciting too. And I think people don't realize what this, they call it Hollywood East, but what's happening in Atlanta is beyond just like, hey,
Mhm.
Tyler Perry put some studios here. They were up and running in this pandemic faster than Los Angeles was, of course. And the
Yeah.
work that's coming out of there, not just film, dance, music, art. Keep your eyes on Atlanta. I keep telling people, don't snooze on Atlanta right now.
Oh, that's great advice because yeah, Atlanta, yeah, Atlanta is on. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and they have a great food scene too. My mom lives in Atlanta, so I at least have like a finger on like kind of what's happening, but the city is really just blossoming, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, and I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, so I've been to Atlanta plenty of times. So yeah, I know about the city. I love it.
I love that. Do you have a favorite moment, favorite scene, favorite dance in the film that you just felt like really came together perfectly?
I've just been on this road of shining a light on professional dancers who really take the time to study all of these different African diasporic movements. So the fact when I saw, an overhead shot of a dancer, her name was a Koshua, and it's a movement that's really difficult. It's not like a two-step African movement or something that looks really simple, but it's like a movement that only people study can do. I was like, oh my God, I love it. And everybody just like, oh my God. Like, and it's creating this environment and this mood and this aura of people like, where are the classes? And I'm just like, that's all I wanted to do. Not continue for it to be, like this is a hobby, this is an elective in academia and all that stuff. So that part, just the overhead shot of her just going off and then it coming out and all of the dancers coming out, I was like, yes,
That's it.
I'm happy with it.
Well, I have a two-pronged question on this, but let me start with the easier one, maybe. Casting
Okay.
the dancers, because some of the dance is so specific stylistically.
Mhm.
Um, how hard was it to cast, or was it easier than we thought? I know you're tapped in, obviously, into that community, but making sure that you have, because these aren't small group numbers. These are large group numbers in many cases.
Most definitely. Once again, I have to give all praises to Fatima. With working with her in this stage in her life, I love how authenticity forward. I just want to be authentic, and anything that is a part of my name, it has to be real. And it's all about the vibe and the feeling. And so even from that process, she said open call. And I was like,
Love.
are you serious? And she, yeah, let's have an open call. And even with that, it was kind of like I knew, because I've worked Africa, diaspora, here in America. I know people. I know the people that go to drum and dance conferences. Thousands can show up if the drum and dance conference is really big. So I knew that if she made that decision, that people would come out. But a lot of people did not think that people would travel to Atlanta to audition. And so I just put the word out. I just said, I just want to let everyone know that it is an open call. So if you can make it to Atlanta,
We
please
would love
come.
to see you.
So that day, because they flew me in to the auditions, that day, there were so many people that showed up that we had to audition by female and male because we could not fit. And this was the largest studio. This is 411 Studio in Atlanta, and one of the largest studios. And so we were like, oh my God, we can't do everything. So even within that, she allowed me to do a mini class, progressions across the floor. And in terms of whoever I saw that grabbed me with just doing one movement at a time, or do small little combination, whoever grabbed my attention, so I pick them. She gave me the freedom to choose. And then she would teach me, she's basically like a mentor for me. She would teach me along the way certain decisions that I should make in the beginning instead of waiting, and things of that nature. So yeah, just definitely learning from her wisdom over the decades that she's been in the industry. But she allowed me, with hundreds of people that were in front of me, to make the choices myself. So it shocked everybody. And I was like, I'm telling you, it's a huge community out there. But I was just like, oh, y'all can. People from Oakland, Chicago, New York, Florida, Alabama, Los Angeles, people flew there for that audition.
That's incredible. I mean, that speaks to, I mean, come on. Like, let's have an open call and they're going to show up, because you can have an open call and people are like, I'm not going to go to Atlanta for something like that. But obviously a cool opportunity if you do get cast and you're working with great people on every single level, in front of the camera and behind the camera.
And it's coming to America. So it's like, oh my God, we are not going to miss it. So yeah, whoever didn't make it, it wasn't because they lacked in skill or anything. It was very difficult to pick. I believe it was 25 people that we had to pick. So we had to go round after round after round and really make hard decisions. But just the beauty of it being in like a class communal setting. We had also live drummers. We were auditioning drummers at the same time. So we had like 20, 30 drummers playing live, these progressions going across. So it felt very natural, real. The good spirits were there, and yeah, it was just amazing. So
The
yeah, even from
energy
the
must have been ridiculous, because if anyone hasn't taken a dance class with live drumming, it is electric. It feeds your soul. Like, it's so, straight down.
yes. So I will never ever forget that moment. From the beginning all the way to the end, it was just like amazing.
That's incredible. Now, I just want to break down a little bit, for anyone who doesn't know what the African diasporic movement is, just so that they kind of understand, because I have had, some of an education, because I went to
Mhm.
NYU for dance and we had dance history. We had classes in it, which was incredible. I went to American Dance Festival. Chuck Davis used to teach
Yes.
class. Oh, I,
Yes.
when we lost Chuck Davis, I'll tell you, that
I know.
that one hurt.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one, And I
So
I was never great at his style, but he never made me feel that but he never made me feel like, "Oh, you're not great at this," because I had so much joy and, so much happiness attending his class, and I learned so much through him that it was awesome.
that's so good. And thank you so much for asking this. So, whenever I express or say African diaspora, it's like an umbrella. And under that umbrella, you have all of these various styles and techniques. And so it ranges from mostly Central to West Africa, because those ethnic groups basically created the African diaspora in South America, the Caribbeans, and North America. It's only that specific reason from the Congo over. So Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, all the way up to like Ghana, those ethnic groups were sent out and created the diaspora. So one person asked me like, why, you don't do dances from Uganda, Rwanda? And it's like, it's because of the diaspora. We are the diaspora, so we're direct connected to those styles and techniques from that region. So all of those styles that come from those ethnic groups are African diasporic. But with the diaspora, you also have those techniques and styles that evolved into something else. So like capoeira, samba, rumba, bomba from Puerto Rico. You have all of those different styles. Hey.
Come on
That's
in.
my dad. My dad. So funny.
I love it.
So you have all of those different styles, and then North America, you even stepping and majorette, the HBCU drumline culture.
Mhm.
All of those are African diaspora styles, even Dunham technique, because she's using Haitian dance and dance hall from Jamaica. All of those are African diasporic movement. So that's why I can understand people say, hold up, stop. This is too much. But it's a lot of people that say, oh, I love samba, or I love Afro-Brazilian, where you get into a Risha movement, and they go to Bahia, they see Olodum, they live people that will go to Cuba and they love rumba and they love the Orisha movement from Cuba. They love to study that. And it's all of these pockets of people that study these African diaspora movements. And it's just me saying, hey, everyone, we're all doing the same thing under this umbrella. So let's put out, respect the technique so that people can treat it as a respectable style instead of it being like only ballet, jazz, modern, or what people, and then hip hop later. This is the only thing that you need to care about, and then you can have fun with all of the rest, because we're all from the diaspora. So African diasporic, all of the styles that are up under that umbrella that's from the continent and the diaspora.
Well, I think it's pretty important for people to even understand so many styles have roots in Black culture and it gets appropriated a lot more than it ever should. But if you're understanding the roots of Black history and understanding the roots of dance history, you start
Yes.
seeing how the tree grows. I mean, and I think that is incredibly important in part of studio education. It's not just about like, hey, let's do this dance. I love it when teachers, and I've seen dance educators start showing them like, these are the roots of it. This is where it comes from. These are some of the artists maybe you need to know, because that also helps them understand the movement of it too.
Yes, most definitely. And it's just good for it being 2021, people, for us to get into, expanding our knowledge, even in terms of dancers. I always stand by, the more you learn, you earn. So, industry wise, especially when you're at an audition and probably it's a situation where the choreography becomes, like blah, and we're just like, we just want to soloing. The person with the most vocabulary is going to stick out. So where would you get this vocab from? Other styles. And so the only way that you're going to be able to recognize like, oh, this is extra vocab from this, only if you respect it. If you put it to the side like it doesn't matter, then you're not going to present it in those situations that make you who you are as a dancer. And so that's where I'm just coming from. Just increase your vocab and you stand out more.
You do. And the dance community, they ask you to do pretty much every single style or at least have an understanding of it. So when you're thrown in an audition and they're like, "Hey, we're going to take a left turn here and go do something a little bit different," you're prepared and you're ready. Cuz who knows these days what
Exactly.
I mean, dancers are literally asked to do everything. And especially in commercial dance out here in Los Angeles, it's insane what you guys are expected to know and understand. So you have to constantly be a student, I would imagine.
Exactly. And when I think about like times with the Nicholas brothers and tap dancing and things of that nature, it wasn't just them saying, "Oh, I'm a tap dancer." They were like acrobats and things that they had to also put in their vocabulary to be able to present simply tap. And with this, is that's all that I'm trying to say. Like to present yourself, we now are able to travel whenever we want to. We're now able to go on YouTube and watch videos whenever we want to. Just increase your vocab, your presentation unique and special.
Are there what type of classes should be dance professionals and dance students be taking to increase their vocabulary? Obviously, we've had the weirdest year ever, and there's so much available to us, whether it's YouTube or whether it is Zoom classes. And I know some of us may be tired, but this is obviously a good way to increase the vocabulary and be ready for that next audition wherever it is.
Yes, most definitely. I can, under the West African side, I can name Yusuf Kubasa. I can name Mari Bas. I can name Mustafa Bangura. I'm just shooting out names. And they have Zoom classes. So, you could just Google them and they have Zoom classes whenever. Uh, Diamana Cora is a conference. They actually continued during the pandemic. It's actually coming up March 7th through 14th, I believe. And that's West African, Afro-Brazilian, Pasos, Rosangela Silvestre, Afro-Cuban, you have Juan Carlos Blanco. Yeah, I could just go.
You go on
And
forever. The
I could
resources
just shoot
are
out names.
there.
Yeah, the people are there. Those teachers are my teachers, and I have many, many, many more teachers, but they're definitely there. They're definitely on Instagram and Facebook. So you just go back and go back and peep the names that I just put out because they're definitely there teaching.
It's interesting to me because I was not taught in a lot of these styles at the studio level, but when I did get to NYU, it is
Hmm.
there on a higher education level. But I feel like there's like a missing step there. Like you have to go and pay to NYU to go and get it. But down here where you're in taking, whether it's community classes or whether you're on the professional track at your local studio, it doesn't matter. They still should be teaching them. And I feel like that's where it's really missing on the education level.
It's so great that you bring that up, Chris.
You're like, I
my
have a
my
point.
my pet peeve has always been like me going to, I call them like the higher education recitals. You would have with other techniques because they have been training and auditioned only within that style to be able to get in that program. Their recital is top notch. They look like it, they look professional. They may not have like, you need to have a resume, you need to have a reel, and need to have all of this in the industry, but they look professional. Like their technique is on point for those styles and all. But when you get into the world dance department, any quote unquote world, because African diasporic is put into the world dance department, it's like I'm looking at a fifth grade recital. And that missing step is basically what I'm trying to create the bricks and the cement blocks so people can actually have a step. So when they get to higher education, they feel like they're becoming professional
Hmm.
at the technique like the other styles, instead of it being like, I'm just having fun and this really doesn't matter. So thank you for bringing that up, because yeah, it's really
Yeah.
I get
I mean,
frustrated.
I'll throw it out there, but like, why isn't it on the competition circuit? If all these kids are out there, every weekend,
We're trying to get there,
let's
Kristyn.
let's get there. Let's get. I'll help shout it out a little bit more because
Yeah. Trying to get there.
and
Yes.
this is the thing too. Like you get to the class and it is, I know a lot of kids like hate standing at the ballet bar, learning all of like the basics.
Mhm.
Trust me, you get into some of these other styles that, whether it's dance hall, whether it is African jazz. I mean, there's so many different Afro-Cuban jazz. These kids are going to be loving every minute of class, honestly.
Yes. Yes. And just the exposure and the education that choreographing and being part of, major films like Coming to America too is what creates, this awareness that needs to
Mhm.
change. It really, really, because I always tell like my sons, it's like this phone you have the world in the palm of your hands. So when you're living in a society where this small little object carry around every day, you can literally access anything you want. We can't continue to have full grown adults that said, I got an A in this West African dance class, and I'm looking at them and it doesn't compare to the level that they're at with any other. It just has to change. It's not disrespecting anything, because every style is beautiful. Every style is beautiful. It just has to come up, because within every style, it's the yeast of African diasporic movement is even in that style. So it's like, how can we not acknowledge finally the style in its totality, and only accept little droplets and yeast in your dough in your everyday life. So that's all that I'm about.
No, it's really good to talk about because I mean, I've seen it in my own like how my own dance education kind of came to play. And that's why I said I'm like I would go to Chuck Davis's class every single day at American Dance Festival when I was there those summers. Terrible. However, I was loving it. I was just trying to learn more and trying to learn more, but I was taking it was years
Yes,
catching up on the technique at that point.
yes, yes. And
That's
it's so
where I
beautiful
was.
that you experience. It's so beautiful you experience that. Because a lot of times, if I'm having these conversations, it's really like, oh, I'm trying to understand, but I really don't, because I'm not in that world. And it's so, with you having exposure to the people around you, that's like, oh, this is on a whole nother level. Like, oh,
Yep.
okay, it's an awareness, and it's not to make anybody feel small, like, oh my God, why? No, it's just, okay, now let's make everything
Yeah,
equal.
let's bring this to the table. Let's make this a
Yeah.
part of dance education or a bigger component, and let's have studios be aware of it and bring in teachers who are able to teach, educate, not just on the technique, but also on the history of it as well. I think it's so extremely important. And I know some studios are doing it. So
Yes.
that's the thing. We don't want to like do a blanket statement, but I even know like a lot. I spoke with one particular Chasta Hamilton, and she's in, I want to say North Carolina, but she's incorporating. She said, I
Hmm.
finally realized they went away from the whole convention circuit. And she said, we had to bring an education to the table, but it's also about leadership and learning that, what it's like to be a business person as an artist, what it's like to learn
Yes.
dance history, in addition to learning the technique. And she said, we've created much better dancers and more successful dancers that are going out to the professional world very well equipped. So we need more models like
Yes.
that, I think.
I'm excited. That's great to hear. I'm a creative director over Alabama State. It's HBCU. They started a dance on screen certification program. And it's
Ooh.
basically recognizing that a lot of dance students leave the program after graduating not prepared to be a dancer. They always end up becoming something else. And so even with creating those models, as you were talking about, it's like create a model that sustains and keeps the artist an actual artist, because that's what they want to be. It's like you're trying to get a bachelor's in dance for a reason. So when you leave, it's so far and few between opportunities, especially African American dancers. So it's like creating models where you have the information and the education to be aware, know if you have to relocate to another city because they have more opportunities, things of that nature that before models didn't exist. It was just like, all right, here, your foot needs to be pointed. All right, go survive life out, and it's like, huh?
Doesn't help.
It's more to, yeah, it's more to being a dancer than that. So
There
that's
is, and I
great.
think USC Kaufman School is trying to do something similar to that. They're like, not every dancer is going to be professional, but we know that they're going to be dance professionals, maybe open a studio, maybe they will be
Exactly.
choreographers. And so they're really trying to do
Exactly.
that. And I think with USC doing it, it's woken up some of the other conservatories on secondary education, including NYU, that, you know what, you
Cool.
have to level up. This is not just like send them out, we've taken ballet class,
Got you.
8,000 hours. Now here's your diploma. Bye.
Exactly. You're sleeping on the bar.
Right.
Like,
So good.
oh,
What is next for you? Obviously, we've had a strange year, but I feel like there is light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm looking forward to all of this and us coming out of this pandemic.
woo. It is something coming up, but I have to keep my lips sealed. But it's something huge, and I'm very excited about it. But yes, another big opportunity to showcase, what I do on a major platform. But yes, I have to keep
Is
it.
it coming sooner or is it coming later?
It's later,
Okay.
later. Yes. Right now I'm in teaching mode with the creative directing at ASU. I'm an adjunct professor in world dance at Hutchins College here in Los Angeles. Consultant for the ACTA. It's an organization that's mostly in the San Francisco area, but I'm a consultant to different traditional art grantees of that program, consulting them in different areas. So I'm doing that. I'm very, very busy, but in terms of the big another major, yeah, I have to keep my lips sealed.
All right. Well, you keep us posted and let us know when that starts coming around and we'll talk about it again.
Will
Is that a deal?
do. Will yes, yes.
Excellent. Kara, if people want to follow you, where's the best place to follow you? And tell us your handle.
I am going to give my band, which I'm wearing the logo, Africa in America. It's at Africa in America. So Africa, America. Both Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. My website, I would like for everyone to go to my website, www.kara, Kara. Is it a slap this? What is this? Because I
Underscore?
keep no, it's a dash.
Dash? Yeah, a dash.
Yeah, because someone always corrects me. I always say slash or whatever.
Oh yeah,
But
it's just
Kara
a
dash
dash.
Mac. Yeah. Kara
Kara-mac.com.
dash Mac.com.
I
That
love it.
was terrible, but I let it out. But yes, www.kara-mac.com and support Africa in America.
I love it. Well, I'm so glad that we met and you are an absolute delight. And I'm looking
Thank
forward to the
you.
next time.
Yes, I can't wait to spill the beans, but not right now. But
I
yes,
know.
thank you. Nice meeting you, Kristyn.
Nice to meet you too.